Okay, today we are making homemade soap. Um, I have my wooden spoon and I have my stainless steel spoon. I have a small spatula. You have to be careful with this. Spatulas melt with the heat, so they don't last long, but I do enjoy using them. I have my cold water with my candy thermometer in it, and I use that to check the temperatures of the oils and also the temperatures of the lye. Now first, I set the lye here on my stove and turn on my vent, and I measure my water and my lye and I mix it together with my whisk here with the vent running, and you can see how tall this is, so that really reduces the amount of possible spillage. And then also with it being really heavy duty thick plastic, I got it at the Dollar Tree for $1, but it's not one of those flimsy ones. This is a really heavy thick plastic pitcher, and also because it has a big wide mouth, it's easy to pour the lye into. And the ice has already melted, and you need to get your lye and your oils within 110 to 130 degrees. There's my postal scale. This is what I use for my oils. I just turn it off, and I put my oils in here. I use a combination of oils, and I just turn it on, and it will zero out, and then I can go and pour in one crock pot and then bring it back, and it will zero out itself again. I don't have to constantly hit the tare button. If you turn it on, then set it on, and then hit the tare button, if you lift it just the slightest bit, it will then encompass the weight of your pitcher or whatever you have sitting on the scale. But if you have it turned off, you set your bowl on and then turn it on, it will zero out your bowl, and that is the most efficient system in my opinion. This is my Health Master top. Montel Williams Health Master. I use that to grind my oats to a fine silky powder. And now over here we have our oils and colorants and essential oils ready to go in. We're going to be doing a lavender, and here's those finely ground powdered oats. And in here I have 6 tablespoons of honey. I have 3 tablespoons of vanilla. I have my olive oil. You can see the green. I only buy the extra virgin. And my coconut oil and my glycerin and vitamin E. So this is going to be a lavender, honey, oatmeal, vanilla. Here is my next one, and I have turmeric spice powder. A little bit of my extract, fell in there, but this is all the turmeric. That's 2 tablespoons of turmeric powder. That produces a nice yellow. And here is my vitamin E oil, my glycerin, my olive oil, and my coconut oil, organic, and my chamomile extract. And then I'm going to use citrus and jasmine. And then here I have French vanilla creamer that you would put in your coffee with no sugar added. It is the sugar-free version. And that is my only excursion that I get away from using all natural products, is this French vanilla creamer. It just really goes well with this particular soap. And now this is paprika. That's a tablespoon of paprika. I will use that to color the soap. In here, same thing. This is just the coconut, the olive oil, the glycerin, and the vitamin E oil. And this says pennyroyal, but this is actually a mixture of different essential oils that I think makes a really wonderful candy scent. a flowery candy scent. As you see, I save my empty bottles, and so that I can use them for this type of thing. Now, Essential Depot is where I buy my lye. I buy it 8 pounds at a whack, and I think that they have the best price. It's food grade, and so I just think that's wonderful. Here is my spices. I use beet powder, turmeric, majorium, and I'm not even sure if I pronounced that great, but this is wonderful for like a eucalyptus tea tree soap. It makes it a really pretty green. The turmeric goes for a nice yellow. The red beet powder does not make it red. It makes my cedar soap a perfect color. You'll have to look at some of my other videos where I show you my cedar soap. And now, if you've seen my pot roast that I did in the crock pot video, this is the leftovers after we eat all the deer roast. Then the next day we poked it in the pot and we fried up some meat and put in there, and then that made us a big pot still of vegetable meat soup, and we almost polished it off. I got to put that away. That's maybe got one more day left on it. Now I will I'm going to set the camera down for a minute and get some things ready, and then I will be bringing you back. Okay, I have my gloves on and I have my goggles on, and now I'm going to take and I'm going to pour my lye into my soap oils. I'm going to give it a little pat, get every little drop out, and then I'm going to stir that. And then I'm going to do the next one. Going to pour my lye in there and do little knockies until we get all the lye water out, or a very predominant amount of it. And I just drop it down the bath so that water is going inside the pot. And I forgot to stir this next one. Stir that. Alright, now we're going to do our next one. I'm just going to set that down in the water. And normally I would run cold water in there and flush those, but the noise would interfere with our video, so I'm not going to do it today. Now, when you're using a crock pot, if you don't just keep working it with the stick blender until you get a really heavy trace, you will have more. Alright, now I'm going to use my stick blender. My memory card did get full, and so I had to pause and clear it out. This will be loud. Okay, now I'm just going to keep working with this, and I will bring you back into the picture from time to time. I will check back with just a few. Okay, I am still doing the stick blending, going from pot to pot. And as you can see, I have not got anywhere near trace yet. And now this is why it's so important to wear your goggles. You can also wear a face mask, but you do not want to lose your eyesight. And lye is a caustic ingredient. Both my grandchildren are asleep and in their beds. I do not make soap when they are running around in the house. It is too dangerous. But I'm just going to keep working from pot to pot, and I'll bring you back in and let you see what the trace looks like. Alright, we are starting to get to a trace. I turn the crock pots back on to high while I am using my stick blender. And well, we're close to a light trace. Oh, this one here. See that, I don't know, Vaseline-y look it gives. And yeah, nope, not yet. Well, yeah, I can see a really light trace where the light is hitting it. So we still have a little bit left to go, and I will get you back on here in just a moment. Alright, now our soap is still working. It usually takes me about 20 to 30 minutes of using the stick blender, taking a break, using the stick blender to get everything done. But I was speaking about the candy thermometer, and I wanted to put in there that when you are checking the temperature of your oils before you put the lye in, see, we've already got the lye in now, you want to ensure that you do not touch the bottom of the crock pot with your candy thermometer. You want to make sure that you hold it or pin it with the little metal clip to where it is floating amongst the oils and not touching the bottom. Now your lye, you can let it go all the way down because you don't have a heat source under it, but because you can bust your thermometer. But anyway, these just have some water in it. I've been flushing them, but you would put your thermometer in your oils, check your temperature, put it back in your cold water to drop the temperature down. Does it off. You can even drop an ice cube in there. Then check your lye, and you want to get your lye and your oils to between 110 and 130. I use this spoon and this bowl this time for my powdered lye, and I just turned off the measure, put the bowl on there, turned it on, and then I measured out my powdered lye, and then brought it over here, mixed it in the container with the vent running, and then after all the fumes was gone, then I put it into the ice bath. And you must use heavy gloves. I don't believe in using those really thin plastic gloves like you see nurses wear. I've had this stuff spill on my fingers, and it was very hot through this thick plastic. So I wouldn't use those thin, flimsy gloves myself. And then once you put it in the ice bath, then you just ratio out your temperatures. And you can get onto YouTube and say lye mixing or anything like that, and there's several videos that give a very detailed description as to how to mix your lye and your water and how to mix it into your oils. And you just always make sure that you put your powdered lye into your water, not your water into your powdered lye. But other than that, I'm going to let you research that because there's several wonderful videos on how to mix your lye together safely. Now let's see where we are on our trace. Oh yeah, we are doing really good now. Now see, this can cause it to pop up, so that's why we need to wear our goggles. Let's see where we are. Oh yeah, see that pile building up? That's a medium trace. I've skipped light trace altogether, so you didn't get to see much of that. And remember, it is important to use your stick blender a lot, or I have a really hard time with boil over if I don't stick blend enough. Alright, now let's see. Yeah, see how we have a pile is forming when I let it fall off of my stick blender. Some people like to just bring it up like this and see the circle, but if you just do this and it piles up, you know. And this is a medium trace, and we want to go to heavy trace. I will bring you back. Okay, now I'm going to show you what heavy trace looks like. Okay, now I'm going to show you what heavy trace looks like. I don't know if you can tell that it has a really puddingy, custardy, but see where when I do that, it is piling up really thick and tall, and it is not dissolving back down into the soap. Now this is heavy trace. So now I have this on high. I'm going to cut this on low, and I'm going to put the lid on it. And this will cook for 2 to 4 hours. Now these two here are most likely ready as well, and I'll put the lid on those, and I will keep you posted as we go for the next 2 to 4 hours and let you see how I cook my soap. Now this is my stick blender. I have, just as you saw, been using it. I've washed it. Once you've washed your stick blender, I take my gloves off. As you can see, they're happily laying there by the sink drying, and I rinsed them good before I grabbed a hold of the fingers to take them off. And never use this stick blender but for anything but chemical purposes. Once you stick a stick blender in soap, it is a soap stick blender. It is not for food any longer. Alright, and I'm going to be timing this. Our lids are on our crock pots, and we have them on medium. I always keep a towel under my crock pots because I did have this one crock pot. I buy them used, and I just think that the low setting had burnt out on it, and it just didn't do anything but high because I had a terrible time keeping it from overflowing. And this last time I said, that's it, you're gone. So I'm down to 3. I've got to buy another one because I normally do 4 batches at a whack. And so I will keep you posted on how the soap is going and how we are. And soon, it won't be long, we're going to be putting our fun things in our soap. So just hang in there, and I will be back. And remember to check out Essential Depot. They are awesome. That is online. It's probably essentialdepot.com. And it is a wonderful place to get essential oils, great prices. Right now they have some specials running, and they always do, so check them out. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes, and the soap is starting to rise up and what we call turn itself over. This one is rising but has not started to turn in upon itself. That's the correct word. And this one has not started to turn in on itself, but it's already starting to get a real glassy, Vaseline-y look around the edges. So we don't stir it yet. We're still watching. We have these on low, and I will keep you posted. Just keep watching. Okay, it's been about an hour. You can see the real Vaseline-y look around the edges. It's time for the first stir. Usually that occurs about an hour. We're going to give it its first stir. Pull all the soap around the edges and get it back down in there. You can see it's nice and fluffy, and it has a little Vaseline-y look to it in the swirls. So that means we're doing good. Going to do the next one. Same thing, very Vaseline looking around the edges. And we're going to do our first stir. But you see all that white cloudiness? We need to get rid of that. I do recommend that you only do one crock pot at a time when you're just getting started. We have these crock pots set on low. And we've done our first stir. It's been about an hour. And I'm putting the lid back on, and I will keep you in the loop. Alright, now while you have been away, I have been putting new paper on my molds, and I don't tape the middle. I just lay it in there because it tucks underneath the sides, and so it stays put, and underneath the ends. So just fold this up and fold up this side, and I bring my wire metal around and I pull it nice and taut, and then I wrap it around. I'm going to get me a pair of needle nose pliers for this. It's hard on the fingers. And there we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. You can see where these two sides let down, and this is a hinge. And so just hold it together. I hope you can see this well. And then I just do the same thing. I've got a screw on this other side. And I twist this around, making that tight. So you can see that I have big old 2-foot mold. Has hinges on the side, hinges on the ends. Everything's wrapped in freezer paper. I don't like that flimsy wax paper. That's no good at all. And then I have 2 boards that I use, and I can insert those anywhere in the mold so that I can do 2 different batches in one mold, or I can do 3/4. There's another video that shows a lot about my mold, and I'm going to do some more about it. I may even build some more and take you to the wood shop. And so let's go look at our soap that's cooking. And here we come. Oh yeah, look at that nice Vaseline look around the edges and the middle. Let's see how this one's looking. Oh yeah. I don't know how well you can see that in YouTube land, but that is nice and Vaseline-y. Oh, that one's super nice. Let's give them a stir. If you ever feel that it is sticking, I mean, you literally like, oh, wait, it won't come off, then you have dehydrated your soap and you need to get it out. So you need to go ahead and stop and do anything that you're going to do next to your soap. It'll look like white stuff attached to the sides of the crock pot, and it just don't want to budge. So this is our second stir. It has been about an hour and a half. See that where that's stuck to the side? But see how it comes off real easy? If you ever get it to where it won't budge, then maybe you've cooked it on too hot a heat. Maybe your crock pot just has a hotter, like mine that I just chunked, the low setting was broke and it was only doing high. But if you get it to the point that you have these white places, but they don't want to turn loose, then you've dehydrated the soap to the point that you need to add your super fatty oils and all your other stuff, and it's time to mold your soap. Alright, we try not to ever do that, but if it happens, it's just time to move on. Alright, so now we've looked at that. Here's one mold, and I've got the other one over here ready. I'll go ahead and set them together and move my crock pots over a little. There we go. And now we have our 2 molds ready to go. And our 3 crock pots are still perking. And I will keep you posted. The grandbabies are safe and sound. Safe and sound away from the lye. That's the most important thing if you have children in your home and you are making soap, is that your children are away from the soap. I've made a mess on the cooktop. That's where I scraped all the wax off and put the new soap on, the new papers on the soap mold. And let's see. Yeah. Our soap is looking good. Nice and Vaseline-y. Won't be long now. I'm going to keep you posted. Alright. We are on our 4th stir because I stirred it once when you weren't looking. And this is ready. It is predominantly Vaseline-y, and so I'm going to turn it off. Let's check the next one. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that well, but we are definitely Vaseline-y. I'm stirring that well. turn that one off. I put my lids down here out of the way, and I'm going to stir this one, and it is ready. So I'm going to turn that one off. Now what I'm going to do is come over here and get our superfats and some of our other ingredients, and I'm going to do this one. Oh, looks like I'm going to have to get a spoon and get all the excess honey out of that one. I'll do that in just a minute. And then this one is our next one. I'll do the same. I'll do that when you're not looking. And this is batch 3. Now the heat of the soap will melt the coconut oil, so you don't have to worry about that, about melting it ahead of time. And the fact that it needs to be melted, it helps to cool the soap down to below flash point, because we need this soap to cool so that we can put our essential oils in there. And most of the time, as long as we're under 160, we're good. So, now we're going to do the next one. This one has more because it has all the honey and the vanilla. This one has a lot more to it, so it really makes it look a little bit more liquefied than the others, because it has all that vanilla and all those tablespoons of honey. And the honey does color the soap some, but we're not worried about that because we've got things in mind for coloring our soaps. And I'm going to turn off the camera long enough to get the bottom out of each one of our pots. See, I still got some honey there. Still got a little bit of olive oil in the bottom. And then I will bring you back in the picture. Okay, now this is my icing spatula, and I take that and I use that to clean down the sides of the bowl. I have stirred everything in good and scraped down the bottom of those little bowls and got everything in here. I rinsed my wooden spoon a couple times in between each pot, because we got different things in each pot. And now we're going to add some of our other ingredients. We're going to add our oats. This is a cup of oats, and I'm just going to keep enough to go on the top of the mold, and the rest is going in to the soap. And this just dissolves in there. I don't use chunky oats that you would feel when you wash. So you just get the benefit of the oats without getting the feeling of being scratched by the oats. Now, in some cases, you might be buying a exfoliant soap, and you might like the idea of having something to scratch. But my soaps are not exfoliant soaps that we're making today. And we're going to clean the sides. And this is really good for bringing up the bottom and making sure that the oats get blended real good. I love my Health Master. My Health Master, I use it to make all kinds of green smoothies, and the kids like it. It's wonderful for making oat flour, rye flour. You can even make soybean flour with that thing. It's just awesome. You can make homemade butter with it, with the cream. Alright. I'm going to knock that down, and then I'm going to rinse that spoon. Alright, whoop, knocked my gloves in. And now we're going to go back and we're going to get the turmeric. Now I have a darker yellow that I used a full 2 teaspoons in. That is a lemon chamomile extract. And so I may see about making this one not so yellow. It almost looks red at first. I like using natural things, and I try to stick with that. And so, and now if you want to swirl with lots of, like, see how it looks now? It's all mingly. You can do that. But I've got OCD. I've just got to stir it all up. But I measured out 2 tablespoons in case I needed it. Now, we'll let that sit. And now we have our creamer and we're going to do that next. And I'm going to get my metal spoon out for this. So we are putting French vanilla creamer, sugar-free, in here, along with a red spice that we all use for our potato salad. And we may have to use a stick blender on this to get all the creamer blended in. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm switching hands. Alright, I'm going to take my stick blender to this, and I'll bring you back in after we do that. But, oh well, now first, let's check our temperature of our soap. Remember, we don't want to touch the bottom of the pot. Even though I've turned the heat off, there's probably still some residual heat coming out from that. And we are popping on up there, but it looks like we're going to be well under our 160. That's looking good. I think that's going to probably not hit the 150 mark. So Yeah, my camera just doesn't do focusing on stuff that good. Well, no, it is definitely hitting 150. So I'll have to wait and see if it goes up, and it is. So we'll keep watch on that. And here is this one, and here is this one, and I will get you back into the picture after I get my stick blender to the creamer in this one. Okay, I have been working really hard with the stick blender. Now I could have added water, but then I would have had to have let my soap cure for quite a while to let that water dry out. So I had rather just keep working it with the stick blender and getting all the creamer blended in. And I'm hoping you can see that well. It is blended in now, and the spice has changed the color of the soap. Not real super heavy change, but it is changed. And then here you see this one, and I will hold that up against that so you can see there's a difference. And I did end up just using a tablespoon of the turmeric instead of 2 because it just didn't need it. And on the oatmeal, we are down to 175 on our temperature. And I'm going to clean my thermometer and lower the temperature in my cold water. And then I'm going to see what the temperature is here in this one. And it's still rising a lot, so we will watch that. And so these soaps, they're off and they're cooling so that we can put our essential oils in there. And I will bring you back in the picture when they are ready for their oil. Okay, our lavender, oats, and honey is ready for its lavender. And there's one. And there is 2. And I spilled a little. And lavender is very expensive, so we are going to get every little drop. And now I'm stirring in the lavender. And it's very important that you get it stirred up from the bottom. I hope I'm holding the camera well so you can see good. This is the last step. This has honey in it, oats, vanilla, and lavender. I do one of these that I put bee pollen in and jasmine. Now I'm going to take a sniff test. I think we need another half a tablespoon. And so we'll get that in. Make sure I didn't spill any, and I did. I usually have 2 hands to do this with. And we will stir that up. It's very important that we scoop up from the bottom and we get that stirred up. Alright, I will bring you back in. I'm going to put the lid on my lavender and get the crock pot over here where the moles are. and show you how we put it in.